What if I told you that the secret to manifesting everything you want, success, wealth, fulfillment, doesn't start with vision boards, lucky charms, or endless hustle? Imagine a life where your deepest desires aren't just dreams, but realities you quietly build, step by step, using ancient wisdom that's been tested for centuries. Picture yourself not chasing after success, but attracting it, not by force, but by mastering your mind, your habits, and your inner world. This isn't just motivational talk. This is the Stoic way, a philosophy that has quietly shaped the world's greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators, from emperors to entrepreneurs. In a world obsessed with shortcuts and quick wins, Stoicism offers something radically different, a blueprint for lasting success that starts from within. While everyone else is looking for the next big hack, the Stoics teach us to look inward, to build a foundation so strong that nothing, no setback, no criticism, no failure, can shake us. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of the most powerful men in history, didn't rely on luck or external validation. He relied on principles, rules for living that turned chaos into clarity, and obstacles into opportunities. Think about it, how many times have you set a goal, only to be derailed by doubt, distraction, or disappointment? How often have you felt like success was just out of reach, no matter how hard you tried? The Stoics understood this struggle. They knew that the real battle isn't out there in the world, it's inside your own mind. The thoughts you entertain, the habits you build, the way you respond to adversity, these are the true engines of manifestation. But here's the twist, Stoicism isn't about suppressing your desires or pretending you don't want more from life. It's about aligning your wants with your values, and then using discipline, wisdom, and resilience to bring those wants into reality. The Stoics didn't believe in wishful thinking. They believed in practical action, guided by timeless rules that anyone can follow, rules that have helped ordinary people achieve extraordinary things for over 2,000 years. So, what are these rules? They're not magic spells or secret formulas. They're principles you can apply every single day, no matter where you start or what you're facing. They're about mastering your emotions, focusing on what you can control, and turning every challenge into a stepping stone. They're about building habits that compound over time, creating a life of abundance, purpose, and quiet confidence. Imagine waking up each morning with a sense of calm determination, knowing exactly what matters and what doesn't. Imagine facing setbacks with unshakable composure, seeing every obstacle as a lesson, not a defeat. Imagine attracting opportunities, wealth, and success, not by chasing them, but by becoming the kind of person who naturally draws them in. This is what the Stoic rules can do for you. But let's be clear, this isn't about becoming emotionless or detached from life. The Stoics felt deeply, they loved, they grieved, they celebrated. But they refused to let their emotions control their actions. They learned to pause, to reflect, and to choose their response, no matter how intense the situation. This emotional mastery is the foundation of all manifestation. When you control your mind, you control your destiny. And here's the best part, you don't need to be a philosopher, a monk, or a millionaire to live by these rules. You just need a willingness to learn, to practice, and to show up for yourself every day. The Stoic path isn't easy, but it's simple. It's about small, consistent actions that add up to massive results over time. It's about letting go of what you can't control, and pouring your energy into what you can. So, as we begin this journey into the 10 Stoic rules that manifest everything you want, ask yourself, are you ready to stop wishing and start building? Are you willing to trade comfort for growth, distraction for focus, and fleeting pleasure for lasting fulfillment? If so, you're already ahead of most. Because the truth is, most people will never take this path. They'll keep looking for shortcuts, keep blaming circumstances, and keep wondering why nothing changes. But you're different. You're here because you want more, not just more stuff, but more meaning, more peace, more power over your own life. And that's exactly what Stoicism offers. Not a guarantee of easy success, but a promise: if you follow these rules, if you commit to this path, you will become the kind of person who manifests everything you truly desire, not by accident, but by design. This is your invitation. The journey starts now. The rules are waiting. And your new life, the one you've always wanted, is closer than you think. That if you want to manifest real success and wealth, you have to start by mastering the art of focus. The world is full of distractions, notifications, opinions, endless choices, and the constant pressure to do more, be more, and have more. But the Stoics knew that true power comes from narrowing your attention to what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you seek tranquility, do less." Or more accurately, do what's essential. Imagine how much energy you'd save if you stopped chasing every shiny object and started pouring your effort into the few things that actually move your life forward. This is the first real Stoic rule for manifestation: ruthlessly prioritize. Most people spread themselves thin, trying to please everyone, say yes to every opportunity, and avoid missing out. But the Stoic path is about saying no to the noise so you can say yes to your purpose. It's about identifying your highest values, what you truly want to create, achieve, or become, and then aligning your daily actions with those values. When you do this, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter, and you start building momentum toward your biggest goals. But focus isn't just about what you do, it's about how you think. The Stoics practiced what we now call negative visualization. Instead of obsessing over what they wanted, they imagined losing what they already had. This wasn't to make themselves miserable, but to remind themselves of what's truly valuable. When you picture your life without your health, your loved ones, or your freedom, you realize how much you already have, and you stop taking it for granted. This gratitude becomes a magnet for more abundance. When you appreciate what you have, you attract more of it. Another Stoic rule is to embrace voluntary discomfort. In a world that worships comfort and convenience, the Stoics deliberately chose challenges. Seneca would sleep on the floor, eat simple food, and expose himself to cold, not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he wanted to prove to himself that he could handle anything. When you practice discomfort on purpose, you build resilience. You stop fearing failure, rejection, or loss, because you know you can survive it. This makes you bold, decisive, and willing to take the risks that lead to real success. Think about the most successful people you know. Are they the ones who always play it safe, or the ones who are willing to step outside their comfort zone? The Stoics believed that fortune favors the brave, not the reckless, but the courageous. When you train yourself to do hard things, you become the kind of person who can handle whatever life throws at you. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, and you start creating your own opportunities. But courage isn't just about taking action, it's about facing your fears head-on. The Stoics taught that fear is just a story your mind tells you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." In other words, it's not the challenge that holds you back, it's your interpretation of it. When you learn to question your fears, to see them as signals rather than stop signs, you unlock a new level of freedom. You realize that most of what you're afraid of is just an illusion. This leads to another powerful Stoic rule: control your response, not the outcome. Most people waste their lives trying to control things they can't: other people's opinions, the economy, the weather, or the past. The Stoics knew that the only thing you truly control is your own mind, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. When you focus on your response, you become unshakable. You stop being a victim of circumstance, and you start becoming the architect of your own destiny. Imagine facing a setback, a lost job, a failed relationship, a missed opportunity. The average person spirals into blame, regret, or self-pity. The Stoic, on the other hand, asks, "What can I control right now?" How can I respond with wisdom, courage, and integrity? This shift in focus is the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. It's the difference between wishing for success and actually creating it. But none of this works without discipline. The Stoics were masters of self-control. They didn't wait for motivation or inspiration, they built habits that carried them through the hard days. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your results. It's what turns intention into action, and action into achievement. Discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself or living a joyless life. It's about making choices that serve your highest good, even when they're uncomfortable. It's about showing up for yourself, day after day, even when you don't feel like it. The Stoics believed that freedom comes from self-mastery, not from doing whatever you want, but from doing what's right, even when it's hard. And finally, the Stoics teach us to detach from the outcome. This doesn't mean you stop caring about your goals. It means you focus on the process, not the prize. You do your best, and then you let go. You trust that if you live by your principles, success will follow, maybe not in the way you expect, but in the way you need. This detachment frees you from anxiety, disappointment, and the endless chase for more. It allows you to enjoy the journey, to celebrate your progress, and to find fulfillment in the present moment. So, as you continue on this path, remember, manifestation isn't about wishing for what you want. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts it. It's about building habits, mastering your mind, and living by rules that have stood the test of time. The Stoics didn't just talk about success, they lived it, quietly and consistently, every single day. Let's go deeper into the Stoic mindset that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. One of the most overlooked secrets of Stoic manifestation is the power of radical acceptance. Most people waste years fighting reality, wishing things were different, resenting setbacks, or blaming others for their circumstances. But the Stoics knew that true power comes from accepting life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have to assemble your life yourself, action by action." This means you stop arguing with reality and start working with it. You see every situation, good or bad, as raw material for your growth. Radical acceptance doesn't mean giving up on your dreams or settling for less. It means you stop wasting energy on what you can't change and pour your focus into what you can. When you accept your starting point, your strengths, your weaknesses, your current circumstances, you free yourself from denial and self-pity. You become honest about where you are, which is the only way to get where you want to go. The Stoics called this amor fati, the love of fate. They believe that everything that happens, even the hard stuff, can be used for your benefit if you approach it with the right mindset. This leads to another powerful rule: turn obstacles into opportunities. The Stoics didn't just endure adversity, they used it. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every challenge you face is a chance to build resilience, creativity, and wisdom. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How can I use this?" When you train your mind to see obstacles as stepping stones, you become unstoppable. You stop fearing failure, because you know that every setback contains the seeds of your next success. But how do you actually do this in daily life? Start by reframing your problems. When something goes wrong, pause and ask yourself, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow? What new skill, habit, or perspective can I develop because of this challenge?" The Stoics practiced this mental shift every day. They didn't see themselves as victims of fate, but as active participants in their own story. They believed that your response to adversity is what defines you, not the adversity itself. Another essential Stoic rule is practice gratitude, even in difficulty. It's easy to be grateful when things are going well, but the real test is whether you can find something to appreciate when life is hard. Seneca wrote, "We should try to counter one emotion with another, and to balance distress with hope." When you look for the lesson, the silver lining, or the hidden gift in every situation, you train your mind to focus on abundance instead of lack. This gratitude isn't just a feel-good exercise, it's a magnet for more good things. When you appreciate what you have, you open the door for more to flow into your life. Gratitude also keeps you humble. It reminds you that success is never achieved alone. The Stoics valued community, mentorship, and the wisdom of those who came before them. They knew that wealth and achievement are meaningless if you don't have people to share them with. So, as you manifest your goals, remember to lift others up along the way. Celebrate their victories, learn from their struggles, and build relationships based on respect and generosity. Let's talk about another Stoic rule: live with intention, not impulse. In a world of instant gratification, the Stoics practiced patience and long-term thinking. They didn't chase every fleeting desire or react to every emotion. Instead, they set clear intentions for who they wanted to be and what they wanted to create. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is about aligning your daily actions with your highest values, even when it's hard. It's about choosing discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, and meaning over momentary comfort. Living with intention means you don't let circumstances dictate your mood or your actions. You decide what matters, and you stick to it. You build habits that support your goals, and you let go of anything that pulls you off course. This kind of focus is rare, but it's the foundation of all manifestation. When you know what you want and why you want it, you become a magnet for the opportunities, people, and resources that will help you succeed. But intention alone isn't enough. The Stoics also believed in taking relentless action. They didn't wait for the perfect moment or the right mood. They showed up, day after day, and did the work. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Manifestation isn't about wishing or hoping, it's about doing. It's about taking small, consistent steps, even when you don't feel like it. Over time, these actions compound, turning dreams into reality. And finally, the Stoics remind us to detach from praise and criticism. If you let other people's opinions control you, you'll never be free. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." Success and wealth are wonderful, but they're not your identity. Your worth isn't measured by applause or criticism, but by your character and your commitment to your principles. When you learn to stand strong in your own values, you become immune to the ups and downs of public opinion. So, as you continue on this journey, remember, radical acceptance, turning obstacles into opportunities, practicing gratitude, living with intention, taking action, and detaching from praise and criticism. These are the Stoic rules that manifest everything you want. They're not easy, but they're simple. And if you practice them, you'll find that success and wealth are not just possible, they're inevitable. Let's talk about the Stoic approach to self-mastery, the rule that ties all others together and makes true manifestation possible. The Stoics believed that the greatest wealth is not found in gold, possessions, or even achievements, but in mastering yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the ultimate Stoic secret: when you master your thoughts, your habits, and your reactions, you become truly unstoppable. Self-mastery starts with self-awareness. The Stoics were relentless in their pursuit of understanding themselves. They journaled, reflected, and questioned their own motives. They didn't shy away from their flaws or pretend to be perfect. Instead, they faced their weaknesses head-on, knowing that every shortcoming was an opportunity for growth. This honesty is rare in a world that rewards image over substance. But the Stoics knew that you can't change what you refuse to see. If you want to manifest success and wealth, you have to be brutally honest about where you are and what's holding you back. But self-mastery isn't just about seeing your flaws, it's about taking responsibility for them. The Stoics never blamed others for their circumstances. They didn't waste time complaining about what they couldn't control. Instead, they focused on what they could change, their own thoughts, choices, and actions. This radical responsibility is the foundation of all achievement. When you stop blaming and start owning your life, you unlock a level of power most people never experience. One of the most practical Stoic rules for self-mastery is to practice restraint. In a world that encourages indulgence, the Stoics practiced moderation. They enjoyed life's pleasures, but they didn't let pleasure control them. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This is a powerful reminder that true wealth isn't about having everything, it's about needing less. When you can say no to temptation, delay gratification, and choose long-term gain over short-term pleasure, you build the discipline that leads to lasting success. Restraint also applies to your words and reactions. The Stoics believed in the power of silence, not just as a way to avoid conflict, but as a tool for wisdom. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to pause before speaking, to listen more than he talked, and to respond with calm instead of impulse. This restraint is what allows you to navigate challenges with grace, to avoid unnecessary drama, and to keep your focus on what truly matters. Another key to self-mastery is embracing simplicity. The Stoics lived simply, not because they hated wealth, but because they understood that complexity breeds distraction. The more you own, the more you have to manage. The more you chase, the more you risk losing sight of what's important. Simplicity isn't about deprivation, it's about clarity. It's about knowing what you value most and letting go of everything else. When you simplify your life, you free up energy for your biggest goals. But self-mastery isn't a solo journey. The Stoics valued community, mentorship, and learning from others. They sought out wise friends, shared their struggles, and welcomed feedback. Marcus Aurelius surrounded himself with advisors who challenged him to grow. Seneca wrote letters to friends, offering advice and seeking counsel. If you want to manifest success and wealth, don't try to do it alone. Find people who inspire you, who hold you accountable, and who remind you of your highest standards. Let's not forget the importance of daily rituals. The Stoics didn't rely on motivation or willpower alone. They built routines that anchored their days: morning reflection, evening journaling, regular exercise, and moments of gratitude. These rituals created a structure that made self-mastery automatic. When you build habits that support your goals, you make success inevitable. You don't have to think about doing the right thing, you just do it, because it's who you are. And finally, the Stoics teach us to celebrate progress, not perfection. Manifestation isn't about getting everything right the first time. It's about showing up, learning, and improving, day by day. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't be ashamed of needing help. You have a duty to fulfill just like a soldier on the wall of battle. When you stumble, don't quit. When you fall short, don't judge yourself. Instead, use every mistake as a stepping stone. Celebrate your growth, no matter how small, and keep moving forward." Self-mastery is the ultimate Stoic rule because it puts you in the driver's seat of your life. It gives you the power to choose your thoughts, your actions, and your destiny. It frees you from the opinions of others, the ups and downs of fortune, and the distractions of the world. When you master yourself, you become the kind of person who can manifest anything, not because you're lucky, but because you're disciplined, focused, and resilient. So, as you continue on this journey, remember, success and wealth are not just about what you achieve, but about who you become. The Stoics didn't chase after riches or fame, they built lives of meaning, purpose, and quiet power. you can do the same. Start with self-awareness, practice restraint, embrace simplicity, seek out community, build daily rituals, and celebrate your progress. These are the habits of self-mastery. These are the rules that will help you manifest everything you want. Let's explore another Stoic rule that is often overlooked but is absolutely essential for manifesting success and wealth: serving a purpose greater than yourself. The Stoics believed that true fulfillment and abundance come not from selfish ambition, but from aligning your actions with a higher calling. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." This means that every choice you make, every habit you build, and every goal you pursue should be connected to something bigger than your own comfort or gain. When you serve a greater purpose, you tap into a source of motivation and resilience that is far more powerful than willpower alone. You stop asking, "What's in it for me?" and start asking, "How can I contribute? How can I make a difference?" This shift in focus transforms your work, your relationships, and your entire approach to life. Suddenly, setbacks become easier to handle, because you're not just working for yourself, you're working for a cause, a community, or a legacy that matters. The Stoics called this sense of duty eudaimonia, a flourishing life that comes from living in harmony with your highest values. They believe that wealth and success are empty if they're not used to help others, to build something meaningful, or to leave the world better than you found it. Seneca wrote, "No man can live happily who regards himself alone, he must live for others if he wishes to live for himself." This is the paradox of Stoic success: the more you give, the more you receive. But serving a greater purpose doesn't mean you have to change the world overnight. It starts with small acts of kindness, integrity, and generosity. It means showing up for your family, supporting your friends, and doing your work with excellence, even when no one is watching. It means using your talents and resources to lift others up, to solve problems, and to create value wherever you go. This rule also protects you from the emptiness of chasing success for its own sake. How many people do you know who have achieved wealth, status, or recognition, only to feel unfulfilled or lost? The Stoics understood that external achievements are fleeting, but a life of purpose is lasting. When you tie your goals to something meaningful, you create a sense of direction that keeps you grounded, even when things get tough. Another aspect of this rule is practicing humility. The Stoics were wary of pride and arrogance. They knew that success can be dangerous if it goes to your head. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that he was just a small part of a much larger universe. He wrote, "Soon you will have forgotten the world, and soon the world will have forgotten you." This isn't meant to be depressing, it's meant to keep you humble, grateful, and focused on what truly matters. Humility also means being open to learning from everyone, regardless of their status or background. The Stoics sought wisdom wherever they could find it, from philosophers, soldiers, slaves, and even their enemies. They believed that every person you meet has something to teach you, if you're willing to listen. This openness to learning is a key ingredient in manifesting success. The more you grow, the more you can give. The more you give, the more you receive. Let's not forget the importance of forgiveness and letting go. The Stoics knew that holding on to grudges, resentment, or regret is like carrying a heavy weight that slows you down. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When you forgive others, and yourself, you free up energy for creativity, growth, and new opportunities. You stop wasting time on the past and start investing in your future. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing bad behavior. It means choosing not to let it control you. It means learning the lesson, setting boundaries if needed, and moving forward with wisdom and compassion. This is how you keep your mind clear, your heart open, and your path free of unnecessary obstacles. Another powerful Stoic rule is embracing change and impermanence. The Stoics understood that everything in life is temporary: success, failure, wealth, loss, even life itself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, observe constantly that all things take place by change. When you accept that change is inevitable, you stop clinging to what you have and start flowing with life. You become adaptable, resilient, and open to new possibilities. Embracing impermanence also helps you appreciate the present moment. The Stoics practiced memento mori, remembering that you will die, not to be morbid, but to remind themselves to live fully, love deeply, and make the most of every day. When you realize that nothing lasts forever, you stop wasting time on trivial worries and start focusing on what truly matters. So, as you continue to apply these Stoic rules, remember, serve a purpose greater than yourself, practice humility, forgive and let go, and embrace change. These principles will not only help you manifest success and wealth, but also create a life of meaning, joy, and quiet power. The Stoic path isn't about chasing more, it's about becoming more. It's about building a legacy, not just a bank account. It's about living in a way that inspires others, even if your victories are quiet and your progress is unseen. When you live by these rules, you become the kind of person who doesn't just manifest what you want, you manifest who you're meant to be. If you've made it to this point, you're already proving that you have the patience, discipline, and curiosity that set Stoic achievers apart from the crowd. The final Stoic rule that ties everything together is this: live each day as if it were your last, but build as if you'll live forever. This is the paradox at the heart of Stoic manifestation, being fully present in the moment, while also planting seeds for a future you may never see. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." The Stoics practiced memento mori, the daily remembrance of mortality, not to make themselves anxious, but to sharpen their focus on what truly matters. When you remember that your time is limited, you stop wasting it on trivial pursuits, petty arguments, or empty distractions. You start asking, if today were my last day, how would I spend it? Who would I be? What would I create? But the Stoics didn't use mortality as an excuse for recklessness or short-term thinking. They also believed in building for the long term. They planted trees whose shade they might never sit under. They invested in habits, relationships, and projects that would outlast them. This is the secret to manifesting lasting success and wealth, balancing urgency with patience, presence with vision, and action with reflection. So how do you live this rule? Start by making every day count. Wake up with gratitude, set clear intentions, and focus on what matters most. Don't put off the important conversations, the bold decisions, or the acts of kindness that could change your life, or someone else's. At the same time, don't rush. Build your dreams brick by brick, knowing that greatness is the result of small, consistent actions over time. The Stoics also remind us to detach from outcomes. You can control your effort, your attitude, and your actions, but you can't control how or when the results will come. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." This means you do your best, and then you let go. You trust the process, knowing that every step you take is shaping your destiny, even if you can't see the results right away. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means you care deeply about your work, your growth, and your impact, but you don't let your happiness depend on things you can't control. You celebrate progress, not perfection. You find joy in the journey, not just the destination. This mindset frees you from anxiety, disappointment, and the endless chase for more. Another key to this rule is serving others along the way. The Stoics believed that the highest form of success is to help others succeed. Seneca wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." As you manifest your own goals, look for ways to lift others up. Share your knowledge, offer encouragement, and celebrate the victories of those around you. When you help others grow, you multiply your own success. Let's not forget the importance of reflection and gratitude. At the end of each day, take a few moments to review your actions, your thoughts, and your progress. What did you do well? What could you improve? What are you grateful for? This daily practice keeps you grounded, humble, and focused on continuous growth. It reminds you that every day is a gift, and every challenge is a chance to become better. Finally, remember that the Stoic path is not about perfection, it's about progress. You will have days when you fall short, when you lose your temper, or when you feel stuck. That's normal. The key is to keep going, to keep learning, and to keep choosing the Stoic rules that lead to success and wealth. Every time you return to these principles, you strengthen your foundation and move closer to the life you want. So as you finish this journey, take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. You've learned that manifestation isn't about wishing or waiting, it's about becoming. It's about living with intention, courage, and wisdom. It's about building habits, mastering your mind, and serving a purpose greater than yourself. It's about living each day fully, while also building a legacy that will outlast you. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us which Stoic rule spoke to you the most, or how you plan to apply these principles in your own life. Subscribe to join a community of thinkers, builders, and real ones who are committed to growth, strength, and living with purpose. And remember, every moment is a chance to practice. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Keep showing up. Keep choosing strength. And don't stop until you become unstoppable.